The name podcast may be modern, but the practice of conveying messages through voice is ages old. All Hindu scriptures were passed on by voice from the gurus to disciples, and our Vedas, Mahabharata and Ramayana were communicated and passed in this manner for several centuries. The Bible tells us that God Himself spoke the 10 Commandments on the Mount of Sinai. It is believed that Prophet Muhammad received messages from God through oral information alone. So, the medium was always there. Did you know that podcasts actually came before internet arrived in our lives? In the 1980s, voice enthusiasts reached out to audiences via what was then known as audio blogging. But distribution was a problem, and it kind of faded away. Podcasting was, in fact, developed in 2004 when Adam Curry, former MTV video jockey and software developer Dave Weiner, coded a program known as iPodder, which enabled them to download internet radio broadcasts to their iPods. Today, there are more podcasts than ever before, over 2 million shows and 48 million episodes. And the number of podcasts is growing exponentially according to Apple Podcast. And the rebirth of voice happened, aided by the internet and other technologies. In this, if I may call it a podumentary, we share our learnings, experiences, and a guide to producing, uploading, and reaching the right audiences through the medium.
वरदे वीणा वादिनी वरदे वीणा वादिनी वरदे प्रिय स्वतंत्र रव अमृत मंत्र नव भारत में भर दे वरदे भारत में भर दे वरदे वरदे वीणा वादिनी वरदे वीणा वादिनी वरदे.
We begin by trying to define who we are talking to. God reached the whole world, regardless of religion. Kovaivani is but a tiny speck in a southern tip of India, trying to reach out to senior citizens in and around Coimbatore and other parts of Tamil Nadu. Retirement communities, districts and village panchayats, through radio, smartphones, health centers, Asha workers, OB vans, websites, etc. And we intend to make a difference by voice. Our voice, our podcasts. Ideation and content creation are the most critical parts of a good podcast. This part of the podcast is perhaps the most important. There are only 3 ways to do it: prepare, prepare, and prepare. The podcast group sits and brainstorms on ideas for topics and execution. We need to decide the topic and the format first. We suggest breaking up each subject into sub-themes. The format could be solo voice, interview, co-host, group discussion, expert speak, celebrity interviews. Each person from the group has a penchant and talent for a particular subject. Here are a few examples of topics: health, wellness, mental health, nutrition, music, counseling, entertainment or infotainment, and a lot more. Let's listen to what the Kovai Vani team members have to say, and also excerpts from randomly selected podcasts.
Here's an excerpt from the interview with Sumati Hariharan Iyer, a middle order batter and off spinner who holds the pride of place as the first Asian international woman cricket umpire.
Umpire, you would have had to stand all the 5 days in those days. Yeah. And it must have been very tiring. And somewhere I read that you were almost tempted to catch a ball. Yes. Because it is in your blood to play. And it must have come in your veins.
Perfectly right. And when you see the ball in the air and by now I would have grabbed it. But when you see or feel a misfielding and dropping a catch, that was a terrible moment. However, I think umpiring and playing the game I give both equal importance. I enjoy doing both because as a player, I have to spread positivity and give a lot of support to my players to bring forth their best. And as an umpire, we were representing the organizers. We had to ensure the proper conduct of the game and also while doing that, we needed to instill that kind of discipline among the players to see that, they behave well.
I am passionate about music, and I would like to do a few episodes on different genres of music in Indian cinema. For example, the genius Ilayaraja, who has mastered folk, Indian classical, and Western classical. And in one composition, he has done folk as well as classical. It goes like this.
பாடறியேன் படிப்பறியேன் பள்ளிக்கூடம் தானறியேன் ஏடறியேன் எழுத்தறியேன் எழுத்து வகனானறியேன் எட்டில எழுதவில்லை எழுதி வச்சு பழக்கமில்லை இலக்கணம் படிக்கவில்லை தலைக்கணமும் எனக்கு இல்லை. That's a folk thing, and it goes on to the classical. ಮರಿ ಮರಿ ನಿನ್ನೆ ಮೊರಲಿಡ ನೀ ಮನಸ್ಸಿನ ದಯರಾದ ಮರಿ ಮರಿ ನಿನ್ನೆ ಮೊರಲಿಡ. What a composition, what a genius.
This is an extract from an interview with Sivakami Mami, 91-year young lady who made music her mantra. She confirms that music is the best therapy for health and happiness. Listen to her sing one of her favorite songs with her usual verve.
People will like podcasts on Tirukural couplets, songs and poems of Mahakavi Bharatiyar, and knowledge drawn from our heritage and history. Following is an excerpt from a podcast in Tamil by me. ஏண்டா சளி பிடிச்சிருக்கா? சரியா தூங்கலையா? குரல் கம்முது என்று கேட்டு பதறும் நம் அம்மாக்கள் எந்த பல்கலைக்கழகத்திலும் மருத்துவர் பட்டம் பெற்றதில்லை. வானம் வடக்கே கருகலாயிருக்கு, அதாவது கிருட்டிண்டு வருது, மழை வருமாட்டிருக்கு, மாடியில் காயிற வத்தலை எடுத்துட்டு வா என்று சொன்ன பாட்டி ஐஎம்டியில் வேலை செய்தவரும் இல்லை. ஐஎம்டியோட சாயம் வெளுத்தாலும் வெளுக்கலாம், ஆனால் நம்ம பாட்டி சொன்னதுதான். ஆடிப்பட்டம் தேடி விதை என இன்றும் சொல்லும் வரப்பு குடியானவன் என்றும் விவசாய கல்லூரியின் பக்கம் தலை வைத்து கூட படுத்ததில்லை. முந்தா நாள் சமைத்த கறி அமுதனினும் அருந்தோம் என பாடிய தேரன் சித்தர் மைக்ரோபயாலஜி பாடம் படித்ததில்லை.
Here are a few excerpts from a podcast on loneliness. Let me begin by saying that being a senior citizen is not easy, as aging is not only about physical changes to your body, but also about the mental changes that are involved as you age. I am here to share my experiences about one common but important aspect of growing old. Being lonely and being alone are two entirely different things. To be alone means that there is no one present besides you. But loneliness can mean that you may be with several people, you may be in a crowd with friends, with members of your family, and still feel all alone. Loneliness can be very destructive and depressive and lead to some terrible things. Let's take a few things that can actually help you get out of your cocoon. 1. Try meeting more people with similar interests like reading, music, art and craft, board games like chess, Scrabble, or Carom. They are not only interesting but also involve the use of body as well as the mind. It takes the strong support of family members, friends, and other loved ones to help us in these times. Get your near and dear to spend more time with you. Try to find company with younger people. They may be school or college students in your area, social and health workers, or even household help. You will be amazed at how this activates your mind, and over a period of time, some enriching friendships may even develop.
We take a short break here before moving to the next segment. Hi, I'm Sanket Mhatre, and as a professional voice artist, I cannot stress enough the importance of good quality audio. In our field, it is often said the quality of audio directly affects the engagement, which is essentially why many of the studios where our recordings happen have state-of-the-art equipment and have advanced soundproofing done. This ensures that the audio quality remains of the highest level. When it comes to podcasts, there can be a variety of types. A video podcast, a presentation podcast, a fiction podcast, and a lot more. When we speak of the Kovaivani podcasts, we are mainly talking of audio podcasts. Audio podcasts are especially challenging since, as compared to video, there is a higher chance of the audience getting distracted or not getting engaged enough. To ensure that the audience stays tuned in to the podcast, according to me, there are a couple of qualities that each podcast must possess. First and foremost, the quality of the content within the podcast. What is the information that you're sharing? How entertaining or informative have you made it? Secondly, the accessibility. How easily can I listen to the podcast? Thirdly, the consistency. How often is new content delivered via the podcast? And fourthly, and sometimes the most important one, the quality of the audio. In the olden days, it would have been quite difficult to produce high quality sound from the confines of your own house or say a small studio. However, with the advent of technology, we now have very small microphones that can be connected to our regular mobile phones and very simple and easy means to soundproof our houses. Simple ideas like using thick curtains in the room, recording in a closet full of clothes, recording during the time of day when there is the least amount of noise outside your room can ensure that your recording happens smoothly and without much external interference. After this stage, the quality of the recorded audio can be further enhanced by using simple free audio editing softwares. Most of these softwares now come with presets that help you clean and enhance your audio with just a few simple clicks. A few simple tweaks and precautions can ensure that your recording quality goes from this to this, ensuring that the knowledge you're sharing spreads far and wide and everyone is able to enjoy the wonderful podcasts that you share. Thank you. Good podcasts brand themselves well, consistently and emotionally. Transcripts can be used in blogs for the hearing impaired, as well as for people who love to surf websites. We should get ourselves listed on Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts. We learned that it may be useful to even try business networks like LinkedIn by recording a short trailer and providing a link to the main podcast. Word of mouth is a really great way to spread your message, and social sites like Facebook, Reddit, Instagram, and Quora are also good to be associated with. Well, we'd love to hear from you on what you thought about our take on podcasts. If you feel we can help, or even better, if you can help, we urge you to connect with Revati Bhaskar on 94422 14635 or email bhaskar.revati@gmail.com.
That's all, friends. This is Revati Bhaskar, Malati Jayakumar, Air Commodore Session, Shankaran, Radhika and Sridharan, and Krishnan bidding a fond goodbye. Our commentator and expert advisor, Sanket Matre, deserves a special thanks from the Kovaivani team. Bye bye and take care.